With us in the studio today is Deji Adeyanju, the convener of Concern Nigeria. It's a pleasure having you on Sahara TV.
Thank you so much for having me once again in the studio here in Lagos.
There's been an uptick in bombardments and attacks by some insurgents and bandits in recent times. Is this a new strategy by the insurgents? What's your reaction to this?
Well, in my mind, I believe that, since independence, we've never had a situation where, the country is fast sinking like we currently have. And I believe that there's government complacency in all of this. I believe, and just like many other people believe, that government is actually benefiting from the insecurity. And when I say government, I mean people around government. And that's why many Nigerians believe that the former service chiefs, were benefiting from the insecurity business in the country. Many citizens are beginning to see it like a business. And this is why I also align myself with the opinion of General Adeyanju that the armed forces and security agencies are colluding with the bandits and terrorists, that are going up and down, terrorizing and killing innocent citizens in the country. Because how do you explain a situation where people will be abducted in Kaduna and all over the country? And government, we met just the week before, we met with parents of the abducted Kaduna students. And the parents told us that the SSS told them to go and pay ransom. The SSS told them to go and pay ransom. So how do you justify that? In a country that we have a government, we supposedly have a government, are you telling me that these terrorists are more powerful than the army, the Air Force, the Navy, the police, the NIA, all these agencies of government? We have suddenly become helpless, that we cannot defeat Boko Haram, and all these terrorist groups in the country. So when citizens begin to lose faith in the government, then the government outlived its usefulness. So in my mind, I believe that there's government involvement in all that is going on in terms of insecurity in the country. Look at the situation even between Israel and Palestine. The total number of the death toll since January this year is more than the casualty figures in the last 4 years between Israel and Palestine. But look at how many people are looking what is going on in Nigeria. There's a war. There's a war going on in Nigeria that is claiming lives almost on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, monthly basis in Nigeria. And the most unfortunate thing is that the president, the commander-in-chief, the person who the buck stops on his table, it seems as if he's not even aware of all that is going on in the country.
Now, let me take you up on that. The president is only aware. Recently, during his the Eid al-Fitr speech or address, he actually said that the elite seems not to understand the military. It takes time to buy equipment, train, and get this equipment, that they actually, working to end insurgency. One begins to wonder, why is it that this government itself is failing in its ability to actually nip this in the board? Beyond just providing these military hardwares and installations. But we've had cases where these military hardwares and installations have been taken over by the insurgents themselves. What is really wrong?
You see, does he look like someone that is working? Does he look like someone that cares? Does he look like someone that even care if the country burns to the ground? He doesn't. So if the president doesn't look like he's interested in anything about Nigeria, he's more interested about Chad, Niger, than even Nigeria. So you can see the speed of light with which he has met the new dictator, baby dictator in Chad. So have you seen him gone show concern about all that is going on in the Southeast? Has he visited the Southeast? Has he visited Niger, where Boko Haram is operating? Niger is just 2 hours, less than 2 hours to the president. You can imagine Boko Haram is taking over territories, Kaduna, where he used to live. He has not visited it. So how can you convince me that this president cares or is bothered about all that is going on? He's not interested. His government, according to Budget IT, has spent 10 trillion naira on fight the war against Boko Haram. 10 trillion. Never in the history of this country have we spent that kind of money since independence on purchasing things for the army. But you cannot see any significant progress. When the president came, insecurity was restricted to only Borno state. And even in the Borno, Boko Haram was so decimated because the 6 weeks of the extension for the election, a lot of progress was made. The president has not only failed to curtail insecurity in Borno, he has exported insecurity to Yobe, Adamawa, his home state Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Nasarawa, Plateau, Taraba, Gombe. He has exported insecurity to almost every part of northern Nigeria. Every part. Now the president wants to start another insecurity in the southeast. So, and you can see, look at the way they are provoking people in the southeast for no just cause. You can see a situation where bandits have kidnapped or terrorists have kidnapped people in Kaduna. They will not send military helicopter to go and rescue, but they send military helicopters to villages in Imo State to go and bombard the villages. So you can see that the plans of the president is not to, put an end to insecurity. It's like he's enjoying it. He wants to start a new insecurity frontier in the southeast. So, in my mind, I'm not convinced that the president is concerned or worried about the insecurity situation in the country.
How will you assess his intellectual capacity to be able to handle, some of these state, issues? Questions have been raised about his intellectual capacity,
yes,
as well as his physical wellness.
Yes.
How will you assess it?
I agree completely with Obi Ekwesili on us unanimously asking for the president to be tested, especially when it comes to issue of his capacity, intellectual capacity to lead the country, because the president does not look like he's sound to lead the country. The president does not look only on sound. The president is completely aloof, and that's why many people believe that the president is unfit to rule, to govern the country. I completely agree with those who express these views. Again, if you look at it critically, this is a man who wanted to be president for 12 years. He kept contesting and campaigning around the country. This is a man who was desperately wanted power. All he does now is sit in the villa and he looks for every opportunity to travel to go and see his doctors. So you can see that the president, this president, this is one of the worst presidents we've ever had in the country, and is in fact saying that President Buhari is incompetent is actually ridiculing the word incompetence. President Buhari does not have anything new to offer the country.
Some of the issues that have also been raised has to do with the diminished capacity of the state itself. For decades, the military and security forces has been hollowed out from within, considering the fact that they have lost capacity and capability as a result of sustained mismanagement and rampant corruption. And for too long, these conflicts have been sustained. Did you ever see any end in sight?
For me, I don't see any end in sight, because the in-laws of the president have just been accused of stealing 31 billion naira. And in their wildest dreams or imagination, all that they could come up with is that he had just divorced the president's daughter. That's their defense. Just like them responding to an armed robbery incident in the villa. They said, that it was it a stupid idea or a stupid attempt or something? So,
it was attempt.
Yes, so you can imagine, you can imagine, this is the caliber of people that we have leading the country. So you can expect a situation where the kind of corruption and the allegations of corruption and counter allegations that we've witnessed under Buhari, not even under, it has never been this bad before. So for me, I do not see light at the end of the tunnel, because, when you look at it critically, look at what we have just heard about what is going on in the MPA. 156 billion stolen just like that. money just vanished into thin air, unremitted to the federation account. Just imagine. So if you add 156 billion plus the 31 billion that the president's son-in-law stole, and all the other billions that we've been hearing, because sometimes we hear 300 billion, 400 billion this. In fact, the Buhari government is a corruption-friendly government. So it's like they have a corruption incubator where they manufacture new corruption allegations against themselves every day. So it's like there's a rat race of who is more corrupt within the government. So for me, again, talking about, yes, the military has a great role to play in, I played a great role in deepening corruption in the country. Because with them, there was no accountability. The commander-in-chief was the alpha and omega. He was almost like a baby Jesus. So what they did was, just like what they are doing now, they print money. So when they print this money, they change the money to dollar, forex, and they just start sending it abroad and looting the money and just launder the money all over the place. So there's nothing that has happened during the military in terms of corruption that is not happening now. Because was it not the governor of Edo State that told us that they are printing money now? So under the military, because of the impunity, and that's why we kept saying that it is wrong for you to have a rubber stamp legislature, have a rubber stamp judiciary. So when Buhari was trying to remove the former CJN, many of us saw the danger in doing so, because we knew that if he brings in his stooge, they're just going to have, free pass to do whatever they, and that's exactly what is going on in the country today. So the corruption that we witnessed or that was entrenched by the military, has been taken to a new level, with this government. And, it's just unfortunate that I personally do not see any light at the end of the tunnel.
Let's circle back a bit to the issue of the armed robbery incident, which was said to be, the allegation has been dubbed as an unsuccessful attempt. And it makes us cringe at the level of insecurity in Nigeria, that in a country where internal country security is considered to be a joke, and burglars have the guts to rob a presidential staff. The question is, if the supposedly most secure location and people in Nigeria are not safe, what security assurances do other citizens have?
You see, ironically, the person that was robbed, though they've denied, but I believe that the armed robbery took place because the People's Gazette, the story was very clear. They didn't even say that the chief of staff alone was robbed. They also said the admin officer of the president was also robbed. He has not come out to debunk it, so I believe the story. Now, the irony is that the chief of staff is the gatekeeper to the president. So if you can rob the chief of staff to the president and his admin officer, who these are the most closest people to power in Nigeria, if you can rob them, it means that one day unknown government will wake the president up when he's sleeping and tell him to bring all his belongings. So it's unfortunate that we have found ourselves in this ugly situation. Again, Nigerians must begin to look inward. Nigerians must stop waiting for this government, because it's just like what many people are already saying. The Nigerians, the governor of Benue State has already said it, that the citizens should begin to look for how to protect themselves. Because if we wait for the government, people are going to be killed, and these unknown gunmen that are moving up and down the country, God forbid, they're just going to run over the country and have their way. And if you look at the way Boko Haram is moving, especially from the northeast down to Abuja, Boko Haram knows that majority of the governors in the northeast and in the north, they no longer stay in their states. So Boko Haram is coming to Abuja. Boko Haram, you just look at the Nigerian map from Borno, look at the way Boko Haram moved moving from Jigawa to Katsina, down to Niger. They know look at the fringes with which they use on the map. If you analyze the Nigerian map, you will see the fringes that they use. Pass into Kaduna, pass into Nasarawa, Plat, all these places. Now you will see the pattern with which they are coming to Abuja. So Boko Haram knows that the governor of Yobe is no longer staying in Yobe, is in Abuja. They know that the governor of Niger is no longer in Niger, is in Abuja. So Boko Haram is coming to Abuja. And if you look at all the things that kidnappings that have been going on in satellite towns around Abuja, you can see the signs are there. So, however, President Buhari will feign ignorance, will feign as if he's not aware of what is going on. But I do not want to subscribe to those who have conspiracy theories that government has hand in it, in all that is going on. Again, but when you look at what we have, a government that comes out to defend terrorists and terrorist sympathizers, like Issa Pantami, and all these people. So you can understand why people are worried that, government may be tactically supporting Boko Haram and some of these terrorist groups, to annex territories and operate their caliphate.
Let me get your reactions that have continued to be divergent reactions that trailed the Southern governor's recent resolutions, which include a ban on open grazing, based on still the state of insecurity in the country, and the call for restructure. There has been some backlash, not only from the ATL, even the Senate itself. The Senate president recently scolded the Southern governors and demanded that they restructure their states. What's your reaction to the resolutions by the Southern government?
I am an ardent student of restructuring. I believe that the federating units, if you look at our constitution, even if we go by our constitution, I believe that the federating units should operate at their pace, and that the power at the center is too much. Even the president should not have the power to appoint the INEC chairman. Because if you appoint the INEC chairman, you will definitely compromise him. If you appoint the Inspector General of Police, you will definitely compromise him. If you appoint the service chiefs, you compromise them. So there's too much power at the center, and that's why we have impunity all over, in our polity.
So what kind of restructuring should this country?
The center, all the center should do is to provide a symbolic assemblage, and platform for coordination, especially in terms of defending the territorial integrity of the country. Allow the federating units to determine business, how their states are to be run, and allow them to pay taxes to the center in such a way that you allow each zone or each federating unit to develop at their pace. Those who don't want to develop should remain underdeveloped. So because what is currently happening is unproductive states are slowing down productive states. So you frustrate. If you don't want to develop, nobody is forcing you to develop. Just remain underdeveloped. But we must remove all those items on the exclusive list. We must remove them. Because how can you say that a state cannot do certain roads? How can you say a state cannot do mining? These are minerals in his state. How can you say a state cannot do certain things on the waterways? How can it be? You are slowing down the pace of development in the country. So allow the states to do it. The states that can do it should do it. And allow them to pay money to the center. Allow them to pay taxes to the center. So, and once it is done like that, we will make sure that the country moves forward. Again, this whole issue of security, you must allow the states. You must allow each of the states. In fact, we are beginning to see some form of restructuring, because this whole idea of creation of Amotekun, Ebubeagwu and all this thing, because if you say you want to hold on to the police, and there are security challenges within the federating units that need immediate resolution, and your police is compromised, your SSS is compromised, they are colluding, like General Adeyanju says, with the bandits, and you need immediate things. You need the states to rise up to the occasion. Because you call the governor chief security officers only in name. They have no power. They do not command anybody. They cannot give anybody instruction. They cannot sack. They cannot hire and fire. So what's the essence of making them chief security officers when they are redundant? So the whole idea of restructuring is, let us practice true federalism. Let us even follow the dictates of true federalism. True federalism, if we are practicing true federalism, there will be full autonomy for the judiciary. Full autonomy. That's why you see that the judicial workers are on strike. A situation where a governor, a president, you can imagine a president by executive fiat removes a chief justice of Nigeria with an ex parte order. Where in the world is that heard of? Let us take lessons from Singapore. Look at how Singapore works Nobody is above the law in Singapore. The rule of law is sacrosanct in Singapore because they realize that the only way their country can work is by putting a system that is independent of the president, independent of whoever is in charge. Because a president will come today, another will come tomorrow. So, and the greatest challenge we have in this country is that we have weak institutions and we have strong men. So, what restructuring will do for our country is that, yes, the country itself must be restructured. However, the federating units must also restructure so that they do not swallow the local governments, the councils. Because if not, after restructuring has been achieved, mini restructuring again will now become the new campaign. Because majority of the state governors have also annexed the local governments units and other federating units under them and other mini units under them. And they are ensuring that those units are not developed. For instance, a governor will come and he will only go and develop his part of the state and refuse to develop the other regions in the state. So look at what the president is doing today. If our country was restructured, why do we even need two chambers in the National Assembly? Why do we need to have 36 ministers? And why does the president need to keep appointing people from his own zone? So if the country was restructured, we will not have a situation where out of 13 or 15 service security heads of 13 are from a region. So you can imagine. So these are what the issues that restructuring will address, and it should be for the betterment of the country. It should be for the economic advancement of the country, and it will create jobs. So the essence is that, and the truth of the matter is that the government as a center cannot really create jobs. What we are doing is just cosmetic surgery, and it does not address the root problems of our country.
You took a swipe at Charles Soludo recently, or his attempt to become the next governor of Anambra State under the party of APGA. Why did you do that?
Yesterday, I woke up and I heard that Charles Soludo has joined APGA. They said he has even joined APGA since. I was shocked. I was like, which Charles Soludo? They said the same Charles Soludo that I know, former CBN governor. I said, no, it's not possible. So I went online and I Googled. And I saw that truly he has joined APGA. I said, APGA is a regional party associated with Biafra and Igbos. So Charles Soludo is now a Biafra, a proud Igbo man. I said, I never knew that such abracadabra was possible. This same guy that has been jumping up and down, was in PDP, was in APC, was telling us how Buhari was going to come and transform Nigeria and turn Nigeria to heaven on earth. Charles Soludo now in APGA, and he's going to come and deceive the people and tell them that he loves Igbos. When he was governor of Central Bank, how many Igbo people did he employ? Now we are seeing how people are employing members of their tribe into different agencies of government. Go to DPR. The way they are just issuing employment letters to people from a particular area in the country. This same Charles Soludo, was he not the same guy that raised over 2 billion naira out there about to build hospital for his mother? He never did. So I was wondering that Charles Soludo has been wanting to be governor since 2008. Like Buhari wanted to be president for 12 years. Charles Soludo has been wanting to be governor of Anambra over 12 years ago. I said, these people, don't they get tired? At what point will these people get tired and say that they are tired, they want to relax? Because why should Buhari have run for second term, for God's sake? Exhausted in the first term, didn't do anything. So for me, seeing someone like Charles Soludo, somebody who has been jumping up and down, this is somebody who has not for once criticized Buhari. There was Python dance in the Southeast. Since he's now an Igbo lover, Biafra lover, an IPOB lover, an APGA lover, APGA member. When Pythons were dancing in the Southeast, did you hear Charles Soludo condemn one thing? When extrajudicial killings of IPOB members were taking place in the Southeast, with all that they are doing now in the Southeast, flying warplanes, bombing communities in the Southeast, I am an outsider that comes from Kogi. I've been criticizing Buhari. Charles Soludo has not for once. Neither did he condemn the genocide against Igbos under Buhari during first term or second term, or the crimes against humanity committed against members of his own tribe. But suddenly, Charles Soludo now is now a member of APGA, the Igbo party. So for me, I am amazed, at the hypocrisy, at the lack of character in many of our leaders in this country. And it's just unfortunate that, these people, the Soludos of this world, they are not different from the Buharis of this world, because these are same of same.
Just yesterday, during a TV interview, Yahya Bello of Kogi State made the statement that Nigerians are calling for him to, assume the presidency, and one begins to wonder. In fact, reactions continue to trail his statement, and some have described it as substance abuse among senior politicians. And you yourself actually was quoted to have said Yahya Bello is not fit to be president of a pig farm. Kogi State is the worst governed state in Nigeria. Civil servants are feeding from dustbin. Could you expand more on this?
If not for the absurdity of our society, people like Yahya Bello, they should be kept somewhere, and studied. They should be researched, so that when the outcome of the research comes out, children in schools are taught how not to behave like them. And that's why I want to align with those who are saying maybe it's substance abuse, because there is no any other explanation. There is no any other explanation. Kogi State is a glorified dustbin. That's the state I come from. I go there frequently. There is no good road in Kogi State. There are no good hospitals in Kogi State. There's schools. There are no good schools in Kogi State. Nothing is good. Nothing is happening in Kogi. There's nothing good in Kogi. Nothing. Civil servants have not been paid for 6 years. Have not been paid. This guy pays civil servants 7% of their salary. Sometimes it feels like he pays them 11%. That's the person that said he wants to be president. Look at, is it not the same clown? The bridge leading to his house collapsed. He constructed a substandard bridge in Okene. The bridge is leading directly to his house. The only good road in Kogi is the road leading to his house. And that's the one that bridge has collapsed. Substandard, even something that you yourself, you benefit. He did a Wuru bridge in Okene, and the bridge collapsed. There is nothing. The roads leading to government house in Kogi, if you get to Kogi, if you get to Lokoja, the road leading to government house, you will weep for the state. So this is the clown. At least I was telling some friends yesterday, I said, at least it's good for something. At least he's providing some form of entertainment to his fellow clowns. Because that can be the only explanation. This is somebody who had the opportunity as a young person to not just only distinguish himself, but to correct the notion that young people in the country are unserious. And that's why many people will never take young people seriously. Look at this man. Nobody takes him serious. In fact, among the governors, not in the north, in north central, if he says he wants to contest in a room of his fellow governors, everybody will start laughing at him because they see him as somebody who something is wrong with him mentally. So, as far as people like these are the ones that get access to governance in the country, many people will be uninterested, especially in politics in the country, because you can't explain it. You can't explain a country where we have people doing well globally. This Pfizer drug is a Nigerian that is behind it. Everything working in the world, a Nigerian has a hand in it. Look at all that our music guys are doing, the entertainment industry. Look at the tech guys. Look at everything working in the country. From those feats, you now ridicule the country by bringing subjects and debate people like Yahya Bello. So it's just unthinkable, but I believe that something is fundamentally wrong with him. He needs to seek help, and I pray that he finds the help that he deserves.
Okay, our time is almost up. Let's just get your partnership. I crave your indulgence, maybe in 2 minutes. What creative ways should this government adopt to win the war on insurgency and banditry at this point in time?
Yes, I must first hail all our patriotic, wonderful servicemen and women who are in the field, risking it all, laying down their lives, paying the ultimate price. But we as citizens, we appreciate because you are our last line of defense. I want you to also be aware, mindful that, this government, this incompetent government is not going to be here for long, and that another government will come that will take protection of lives and property seriously. I know that the current government, there's nothing we can say to them. They are deaf and dumb, so there's nothing that people have gone to meet Buhari to whisper into his ears, the Adeyanjumas, the Obasanjos, everybody has spoken to him. So if he did not listen to those people, is it me that's going to listen to my ideas? So there's nothing really that I'm going to say that, but to appeal to our servicemen and women who are on the front lines to please not give up, to please, let's keep trying to protect the country from these invaders, these terrorists that are trying to sink the country, and these unknown gunmen. I know that many of you in the Southeast have given up. You're not even afraid to wear your uniforms and all that, but all hope is not lost. Again, appealing to fellow citizens that, man, there are bad police officers everywhere. There are bad military people. There are bad government people. But there are good police officers. There are good military officers. And that we should join to protect our country. We should join to protect them as they serve our country, as they protect us from terrorists and criminal elements, kidnappers, and all these people. And that in the end, we will be able to have a country that we'll be proud of. Again, my special thanks to our military men, our policemen, the patriotic men, security agents in the country who are working around the clock, who abide by rule of law, who abide by the constitution, who does not victimize innocent people, who don't commit extrajudicial killings. That let's just manage to 2023. Let's manage and keep the country together. Let's manage or keep the country from sinking. If we can get to 2023, then there may be some form of hope at the end of the day. But the situation looks very bleak, and that's why I do not have anything against the Pastor Adefaransis of this world who say that everybody should have a plan B.